Imagine if a single shift in your mindset could transform your painful daily grind into a lifelong masterpiece. This book holds the secret to that exact transformation. We spend the vast majority of our waking hours at work. Yet, for countless individuals, this time is endured merely as a painful necessity to earn a paycheck. Inamori Kazuo, widely revered as the god of management in Japan, challenges this deeply ingrained mindset with a profound question. He argues passionately that work is not just a means of financial survival, but rather the ultimate spiritual discipline, a process through which we polish our souls and build our character. In his youth, Inamori Kazuo was far from a prodigious genius. He graduated from a provincial university and barely managed to secure a job at Shofu Industries, a struggling, near-bankrupt, medium-sized company. The company was in such dire straits that it couldn't even pay salaries on time. One by one, his peers grumbled and resigned. He, too, desperately wanted to escape, but circumstances trapped him there. With nowhere else to run, he made a radical, life-altering decision. He stopped running. He brought a cooking pot into the laboratory and began living there, throwing his entire being into his research. Miraculously, the moment he stopped complaining and surrendered completely to his work, his reality began to shift. Technical problems that seemed utterly insurmountable suddenly began to unravel, leading to groundbreaking discoveries and global patents. His external environment had not changed one bit, but his complete dedication and profound immersion transformed his destiny. Through this visceral experience, Inamori concluded that when a person fully commits to their work, doing it with such meticulous care that it could cut their hands, the universe or divine providence steps in to offer profound wisdom. Armed with this philosophy, he later founded Kyocera with a modest capital of 3 million yen, nurturing it into a global powerhouse, generating tens of billions of dollars in revenue. Even more remarkably, in his 70s, he came out of retirement to take the helm of the bankrupt Japan Airlines. Imbuing the devastated workforce with his philosophy, he orchestrated a miraculous turnaround, bringing the airline back to profitability in just 1 year. The foundation of these legendary achievements was his unwavering belief that work is the ultimate vehicle for cultivating altruism and inner strength. Central to his teachings is his formula for success, which calculates the outcome of one's life as the product of ability, effort, and attitude. While ability and effort are scored from 0 to 100, attitude ranges from -100 to +100. This means that a brilliant, hardworking person with a negative, selfish attitude will ultimately produce a massively destructive outcome. Therefore, possessing a positive, grateful, and altruistic mindset is the most critical factor in achieving true success. Ultimately, Inamori Kazuo's core message is that a calling is not something you miraculously find, it is something you forge. True fulfillment comes from embracing the task right in front of you, turning the mundane into the extraordinary through relentless, joyful persistence. Work is not a punishment, it is the most powerful salvation we have. Now, let's delve deeper into the profound wisdom hidden within these pages and explore how these timeless principles can revolutionize your own career.
It's a question we don't often ask ourselves, but maybe we should. Why do we actually work? Today, we're diving into the mind of one of Japan's most revered business leaders, Kazuo Inamori. And his ideas, which come from his book, Why We Work, well, they offer a completely different way to think about our jobs, and maybe even our entire lives.
So let's just start right there. I want you to really think about it for a second. Why do you work? And look, for a lot of us, the answer is pretty straightforward, right? We work to pay the rent, to support our families, to put food on the table. It's about survival. It's just a means to an end. It's what you're supposed to do. But for Kazuo Inamori, that answer just wasn't good enough. Not even close. He believed that seeing work as just a chore was a massive missed opportunity. And his philosophy didn't just change his own life. It literally became the bedrock for building multiple global corporations from the ground up.
So who was this guy they called Japan's god of management? Well, as you're about to see, his story is probably not what you're picturing at all. I mean, just look at this contrast. Inamori's early life was one setback after another. He fought off tuberculosis, he graduated from what he himself called a third-rate university, and his very first job was at a company that was literally teetering on the edge of bankruptcy. And yet, from that rock-bottom start, he founded the tech giant Kyocera and the telecom powerhouse KDDI. And then, get this, in his late 70s, he comes out of retirement to rescue Japan Airlines from one of the biggest corporate bankruptcies in history. How is that even possible? It all came down to his philosophy of work.
So let's get into it. What was this core belief? This is where he completely flips the script on why we even have a job in the first place. For Inamori, work isn't about what you get. It's not about the paycheck or the job title. It's about who you become. He saw your job as a kind of spiritual gym, a training ground to build your character, to polish your spirit, and ultimately to figure out what your life is all about. Think about how radical that is. Your job isn't a burden. It's the main tool you have for personal growth. So you have to wonder, how in the world did a young guy stuck in a failing company come up with such a profound idea? Well, it was born from total desperation and one crucial shift in his mindset. Just imagine this. You're fresh out of college, you land a job, and the company is a sinking ship. All of his colleagues, guys from top-tier universities, they quit one by one. Inamori felt completely trapped. He later said he felt like a corpse with no dreams left. He wanted out badly, but he felt like he needed a real reason to leave, something more than just, I don't like it here. And this was his light bulb moment. He realized that complaining wasn't changing a thing. So he made a crazy decision. Instead of searching for a better job, he was going to pour every last drop of his energy into the one he had. He decided he was going to commit so completely, so totally, that he would actually fall in love with it. And this is so important. Inamori's whole idea pushes back hard against our modern obsession with finding your passion. He said a calling isn't something you go out and find, it's something you build right where you are. By dedicating yourself and mastering your craft, you can turn any job into a calling. The power isn't in finding the perfect job, it's in perfecting your approach to the job you already have. Okay, so he didn't just keep this philosophy to himself. No way. He scaled it up into a revolutionary management system, one that's now being used by more than 700 companies around the world. He called it amoeba management, and the idea is brilliant in its simplicity. You break a big company down into these small, self-sufficient teams, he called them amoebas, of maybe 5 to 50 people. And each of these tiny teams operates like its own little business, with its own profit and loss statement. And this system had 3 really clear goals. First, make sure every team knows exactly how they're doing financially, in real time. Second, you want to develop a leader's mindset in everyone, not just the people in the corner offices. But the ultimate goal, the big one, was to achieve management by all, to create a company where every single employee feels like they are the hero of the story, the protagonist driving the whole thing forward. Inamori believed that all the results you get in your job, in your life, everywhere, could actually be boiled down to a simple but incredibly powerful mathematical formula. Okay, so the equation starts with ability. This is your raw talent, your intelligence, your physical health, basically the stuff you were born with. It's important for sure, but it's just the starting point. Next, he adds a multiplier, enthusiasm. This is your passion, your effort, your sheer will to get things done. Inamori was convinced that someone with enough enthusiasm could run circles around a person with more natural talent but less drive. It literally multiplies what you're capable of. But here is the most important part. He adds one last critical multiplier, your mindset. This is your philosophy, your character, your fundamental attitude towards life. Are you optimistic or pessimistic? Are you grateful or cynical? Do you help people or do you tear them down? Now here's why that last part is a complete game changer. Ability and enthusiasm, they're scored from 0 to 100. But your mindset, that ranges from -100 to +100. And what that means is, you could have the most talent in the world and incredible passion, but if you have a negative mindset, if you're destructive or cynical, the entire result of your life becomes a negative number. Your mindset doesn't just add to your success, it can multiply it into greatness, or it can wipe it out completely. So we end by turning it all back to you. Inamori's philosophy pushes us to stop focusing so much on what we're getting from our jobs. Instead, it challenges us to ask a much, much bigger question. Through all those hours we spend working every single day, who are we becoming?
what is our work making us into?